Hey everybody, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. So excited to do the first December daily process video. This video is going to cover my cover that I'm making right now, also the reason why page, and then a pre-season warm-up page. So when I do my cover, I usually do a transparency or a vellum, and then behind that is usually a family photo or a decor box photo. It makes it really simple if I have those two choices, and I usually just go sparingly. Yeah. I don't put a lot on the cover, but this year I wanted to do something with my paper. I just reorganized my paper and I decided what can I make with it? What can I do that's different? And then I remembered my fringe scissors. So I got those out and I decided to do like 1-inch paper strips and go ahead and add some fringe to it. And I kind of figured out that I can do the fringe two different ways. I can just use like the very tip of the scissors, as you can see what I'm doing here with the red strip, or I could kind of use my hand and then like fringe it if I push my hand down, and that would make kind of a deeper fringe. I don't know. Either way, I was able to do two different types of fringes and get two different cuts with it. And once I have all my paper strips cut, I just started assembling my page. It's not a Christmas tree shape. It's just paper strips from the top to the bottom. And I only used 3 papers that were from this year's kit. I started with red at the top, and then I decided that I want something that says Happy Christmas, so I'm going to switch that out. I wanted to make sure that the word Christmas and the red paper, you can still see that. So I kind of worked my way from the middle to the top and then to the bottom. And I don't really put any adhesive on the fringe, and I also bend up some of the fringe a little bit to add more texture, and I am absolutely loving this. I just love it. It's so nice when those like random ideas pop into your head and you're like, wow, let me see if I can try that. And then you try it and it is so fun and it works perfectly. I love this because this idea just popped into my head and I'm like, I really love that. It adds some texture to the page, the dimension, and it's just something different, and it uses up your paper scraps. So at the top, I have the Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas paper, and then after that is a striped one, then a red one, and then a neutral one. The bow paper went towards the middle, which I love. A December Memories black paper, then green, red, and then another green paper down at the bottom because I have so much green paper. I'm actually contemplating doing a second design just like this, but later on in my album, like a 4x8 size, and maybe to pair it with the Grinch theme, because I have that Grinch insert that I was telling you about. And then it's the 25th anniversary, and I just discovered that McDonald's is doing a special like Happy Meal with the Grinch. So there's definitely going to be a Grinch story, and it would be fun to do a smaller fringe insert that has all the different green papers, since like I said, I have a million. So I'm almost done building this fringe page, and what I'm going to do is just cut off the excess and then save the ones that I can use and then toss the ones that I'm not going to use. And I'm not going to put these back into my paper storage. I think I'm just going to put them in my random box. The random box, if you remember, it's a box I have that holds like one left of an embellishment, die cuts, things I've printed and then cut out with my Cameo, random stickers. I mean, it just has bits of everything. I want to put 25 on the front of this page since it's 2025. I could have done the year, but I decided 25 will work just fine. And honestly, it would have been better if I could have stitched this, but I don't have a sewing machine, so I'm just going to staple it so that way it appears like it's stapled down. And then I'm going to quickly realize that I do have to actually staple this down because the adhesive is not going to work with all that fringe. It won't stick to the fringe, if that makes sense. So I am adding some glue, and I'm going to quickly realize this is not going to work, and I do actually need to use my stapler. And thankfully I was able to get the stapler in on the left side and the right side and go ahead and add a second staple so that way it can stay on my page. And I really I'm thrilled that I had two, the 2 and the 5 in my numbers stash, so that works perfectly. Once I have that finished, I'm going to add something to the back and also my decor photo. Thanksgiving was really cold and really dark, and so we did not get a Thanksgiving photo, like family photo. So decor was really my only option. So behind that, I will have the decor box that I opened up. Usually it's my Target birds, but I decided to just do this red box. I also wanted to make sure that that I'm using up my stash, and I had this card from 2022, and I'm finally going to put it down, and I'm so excited it finally has a home. And I think I mentioned this in another video, but it really is such a thick card that it gives a really sturdy base or foundation for the back of my fringe page. So now I'm going to work on my reason why page. So for me, one of the biggest tips that I can give for December daily is to just jump in. It can feel like you're jumping into a cold river and nervous. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but even after all these years, that is what it still feels like. But you really just have to jump in. Take some time to think, but about what you're going to do with your supplies. But really, if you know what kind of stories you're going to tell, the same things that you do every year, then just go for it. And that is what I told myself, I think last weekend. I'm like, let's just play around with the supplies. So I got out a piece of paper, I cut the piece of paper, and then I decided that I wanted to do something with these banners, these thin banners that are in the kit this year. And I loved the idea of pairing them with the coordinating color on this striped paper. So I'm going to take a 1.5 inch striped paper and put it on the left-hand side, and then take a coordinating little die cut banner and match it up. And I just love that. It's simple, but it uses up my supplies, and it kind of introduces all the colors that are in the kit, and it's going to work perfect for my reason why. I just did not add in my reason why when I was editing this video. That's okay. I can show it to you guys later, but I have the page. I feel like sometimes when we do these reason whys, we have pretty much the same reason why, why we're documenting, but for me, sometimes, again, it's like that cold river analogy. You feel like you gotta one up yourself or do better than last year, but really you don't. You just stick to, why are you doing this project? Why is this project important to you? So I need to just finish up my words and get it printed, and then I'll put it on there. But I have a pink banner that says this holiday tradition, a red one that says finding joy. Then there was a gray spot, neutral, so I put December. Then you have a green, so I put merry and bright. And then there was a darker green slot, and there wasn't any banners that matched. So I decided to go with a die cut that says this year, and it has some gold. So that little section will pop. And then at the last one is the most wonderful time of year. I then stamped reason why with this alpha stamp set. I have no idea if it's still available. I've had it for a while, but I love how it has the alpha, or not the alpha, it has the uppercase and the lowercase, and you can pick and choose what you want to do. I also wanted to use this stamp set. It was a $5 stamp set that Ali Edwards offered towards the end of the boxing period, and I don't know if it's available anymore. But I stamped in this season, and I stamped it so that way I had a little bit of room on the right and the left, so it didn't go all the way to the left or all the way to the right. And that's it. That's all it is for my reason why. I'm going to add a paragraph of text later on about why I'm doing this project and call it good enough. It doesn't need to be complicated like I was saying earlier. I just forgot to add that in and share that with you guys. So I've got that in the album. I'll adhere that to the back of the decor photo. Now, I'm not a football person or anything, but I thought it would be kind of a fun play on words to do a collage about a preseason warm-up. So warming up to the season, day after Thanksgiving, getting out the decor boxes and decorating as a family. And again, using up my supplies. I had this grid green paper and I wanted to put a collage mix of photos of us decorating. And then on the edge of it, I will put the title, Preseason Warm-Up. So I have 5 different photos of the day, and then the rest of the boxes I'm going to go ahead and fill in. So I have all the decor stacked up, a show that we watched later on in the day, one of the decor boxes, and then my husband and son working on the banner. And the 5th photo is me opening a box, but I'm going to be honest and tell you that that is a screenshot from the video. I gave my daughter the phone and I was like, take a video, make sure you get a picture of me too, trying to get myself in the videos and the photos. And my daughter's video is so shaky and there is no photos of me. So I got a screenshot. It's slightly blurry, but you can't really tell if you're looking at it far away, maybe up close. But I'm happy that I was able to pull a screenshot and use that. So I took a digital stamp set from a few years ago and stamped out preseason warm-up. Then I changed the color and I shrunk down the words, and then I added a white stroke so that way it would cut out around the white and not each individual letter. Some of the letters got clumped together, like SE is together and then W is together and then ARM. Either way, they are not all together, like tiny letters all together. Some of them are, in bunches, which I prefer, and that is the point I'm trying to make. I love adding the white stroke. It makes it so handy to keep my letters together and just add a little bit of emphasis to them because they don't just look, to me, they look better with that white around them. So I have warm up and I'm putting that on the edge of the grid paper that I have. And I wasn't sure how I was going to get preseason to hang off the edge. I probably could have used a sheet of laminator paper. That probably would have been better than trying to figure out how to use half circles because it did wind up being quite the process, like a lot of finagling. And on the back side of it, it looked really messy. But once I finished up day 1, it doesn't look too bad. But like I said, a laminator sheet would have been better because then it would have really looked like it was floating. But my intention was to use this neutral colored brown paper with some stars and mat the words on top of those half circles. That way they pop a little bit and also they're not just, that way they have somewhere to adhere to. So I put pre and then season. And then, of course, I have warm up. I need to make the scallops, or it's turning out to be scallops, but it's really just half circles. The half circles are going to extend for, most of the edge. The only problem is I'm going to realize sooner than later that once I put this in the album, the scallop border preseason is going to stick out way too far. And I'm going to have to rework the entire title to try to get it to stay in the album. And then later on, off camera, I realized that I do have some wiggle room on the left-hand side where the holes are. And I can basically repunch my holes to make the paper, smaller and hopefully make those preseason letters stick in a little more, if that makes sense. So I can take the punched holes, trim that off, and then repunch. And that is what I essentially do because I don't want it to stick out too much. I don't mind a little sticking out, but this was like way out of the album and it wouldn't have worked. So I'm trying to get everything to line up. This is definitely taking longer than I intended. I'm still having fun with it, so that's good. And I'm enjoying, putting the letters together. But like I said, it would have been probably a lot faster if I had remembered that I have a lot of laminator sheets and scraps, and that would have been better. And plus, I would have saved this paper because this paper is so pretty and it's a neutral. So bummer that I didn't think of that. So I have 3 spots to fill in, and keeping, using my stash in mind. Again, I'm going to pull some different things to add, and I love the result. I used these light bulbs, I think last year for my cover. So I only had 3 left, and it was perfect to fill in the top little box. And then I have some green chipboard from a few years ago. And so I grabbed one that says Holly Jolly. I'll use that. And then at the very bottom one, I will put a yellow scallop. So what I do to kind of make the lights look like they're actually stapled on the paper is staple first, then add adhesive, and I really like that look. I'm also going to add a word phrase sticker that says counting down and adhere the Holly Jolly. And then, like I said, the bottom corner is going to have a yellow scallop. And I am so loving these scallops and finding lots of different ways to use them. Adding in some journaling lines. I definitely could have probably used more journaling lines. I keep telling myself you need more journaling lines than you think. But after all these years, I just still cannot remember that. So after I get the scallop, I want to stamp a phrase, and I think the phrase that I decided on was make merry, and I thought it would be fun to have a yellow ink, but it's not going to stamp very well. Below the lights, I did add a word phrase sticker that says counting down. It's a super old word phrase sticker, but again, using up my stuff, and it matched perfectly. So when I stamp Make Merry, it looked okay, but I would have preferred black. I should have just gone with black like I was telling myself. I then thought, hey, what if I can take the Make Merry and take the black and just stamp it right over and it'll be fine. No, it wasn't fine. It looked weird. It looked like some sort of optical illusion, and it was not going to work. So I took a scrap of that green grid paper and went ahead and stamped Make Merry. That way it was the same type of paper, cut it out, and then adhere it right over the top of the yellow stamped pieces. And you really can't tell unless you go close up to the paper. So it is what it is. I took a risk, and the risk was not worth it because I did not like the yellow. Right below the Make Merry, I'm going to I'm going to add a sticker that says time for beginnings, which is just perfect. So I'm going to add in black stars from one of the new 6x8 stamp sets. I feel like just adding those stars added the movement that I wanted to have your eye travel around the different sections on this page. So I always love doing that, just adding circles or dots or stars, just little stamping that I can add, and love it. All right, so the journaling is just talking about the day after Thanksgiving, coming all together to decorate, and I love the fact that my son was in charge of hanging up the joy sign, and he did a fantastic job. And I also found homes for all my birds, my target birds. I think I need to count them because I think we're up to 30. I don't know. And then my daughter was here and there and everywhere, helping in all the different areas and taking all kinds of videos, very shaky videos, but videos nonetheless. But this is where I'm at with my album, and you can see I close it. I think I'm done. And then I noticed the preseason letters are not working at all. So I gently peel them up. Thankfully, They come up really nicely. Maybe I didn't put enough glue, but I pull them up and I get them to the edge of where the photo is. And then I try to scoot down everything else, and it's working. It's working to scoot everything down, but like I said, once I turned the camera off and I thought about it for a while, I knew that I was going to just have to trim the edge to make myself feel really good about this and make sure that they're not hanging off the edge. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing these pages come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day. Bye.